Welcome into Drew's Daily Diamond for Thursday, April 25th. I am Drew Martin breaking down the games on the short slate here. We got some day action, some late afternoon, and a prime time game to get into on the Thursday card. So without further ado, we are heading to Cleveland for our first game up, 1:10 Eastern start. The Boston Red Sox and the Cleveland Guardians. It's Tristan McKenzie going for the Guardians, minus 160 favorites, 7.5 being the total. Chase Anderson is the slated starter for the Red Sox, essentially pointing towards a bullpen game. He's had 6 appearances this season, 8-1 strikeout to walk ratio, but all 6 appearances in relief fashion. So he'll likely go 2 or 3 innings and turn it over to the rest of the bullpen arms here, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. This Red Sox bullpen has been pretty good, top half in MLB by my numbers. And I know a lot of people talking about Cleveland 17-7 on the season. Great start. Boston's also had a surprising start here. They've had to deal with some injuries, and they're still 14-11 on the year. They've also played great baseball outside of Fenway Park on the road. They're 11-4 this season. So going to actually look to ride that here. Boston Red Sox plus 140. A couple more reasons why. The Cleveland starter, Tristan McKenzie, he's tall. He's like 6'5", skinny. When you watch him pitch, he looks really good. Drafted right out of high school, Royal Palm Beach High School, all the way up in here to the majors. But he's been up and down a little bit. 2 good starts, 2 bad starts so far this season. In the good starts, he's going 5-6 innings, 1 earned run or 0 earned runs, and then he's gotten blown up in the other 2 starts. He has 15 walks and 11 strikeouts on the season. Anytime you're having more walks than strikeouts, particularly when you've already had 4 starts under your belt, that's almost like fade only for me. I can't be laying a price, particularly minus 160 on a guy like that. So overall, guys, it's pointing me towards this Red Sox team. They're getting healthier as well. So I think this lineup's going to be able to get to them. Plus 140, risk 100 to win 140 in the first game up on Thursday. Let's go with the Sox, 1:10 Eastern start. Going from Cleveland to Kansas City for our next game up, the Toronto Blue Jays at the Kansas City Royals. Jose Berrios and Reagan's going at it. Reagan's the lefty, a high prospect guy, drafted right out of high school. He's throwing 97 miles per hour from the left side, demanding respect in the betting markets from the odds makers. In my opinion, with the Royals going minus 115 favorites, as we're talking in the 9 a.m. Eastern hour before these games are slated to start here. He did have a solid start to the season. There's not a huge track record there in past years, but his last time out, 7 earned runs and only just over 1 inning pitched against the Baltimore Orioles. So going up against that O's lineup, they really got to him. Other than that, though, he's been good. 33-7 strikeout to walk ratio. So it's a little bit of a tricky handicap here, guys. I do like this Blue Jays lineup, particularly against lefties. This season they've kind of, come to play in some games, not so much in others, but against southpaws, they are a top 5 lineup by both team OPS and weighted runs created. Berrios, at times he's looked a little bit iffy, but in his last 3 starts, 0 earned runs given up, and that's brought his ERA under 1 here. I have read some articles that, he's overperforming his metrics. But, I mean, when your ERA is under 1, yeah, I guess you are going to be overperforming some of your metrics. Still, 31 innings pitched. He hasn't let up many runs, and they're catching a plus price here. We get a pretty good lineup, top 5 lineup against lefties, plus 105, risk 100 to win 105, and a bullpen advantage, which in this particular matchup, bringing up kind of the matchup handicap with the weather aspect, it looks like 50 degrees with rain in the forecast, 20-mile-per-hour winds, crosswinds. So if this game gets started and then the starters get pulled, because of a break in action, the Toronto Blue Jays have a bullpen advantage by my metrics right off the gate. But here's the thing, guys. This is kind of the bullpen handicap of it. The Royals closer, MacArthur, their setup guy, Stratford, and their 7th inning guy have all pitched back-to-back days. So they might not be available in this. With their top 3 arms being in question, you're giving up the bullpen advantage either way. That's pointing us towards the Toronto Blue Jays at the plus price. I think the wrong team is favored here. So let's go with the Jays plus 105. 2:20 Eastern, 1:20 local time start here in the Windy City. We get the Chicago Cubs hosting the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander and Julian Hassad, the slated starters here. So two righties going at it. Total of 8 with the Stros minus $1.25 as the favorite. Now, we bet on this game with the Cubbies. They came in yesterday for us, holding on to the 1-run lead. I actually had this game circled to get back on the Cubs as well, guys, but I thought we were going to get a little bit more of a plus price. I think the market's a little bit in tune here to what's going on. One, the Cubs starter, Assad, a guy that made his way up in the Mexican Pacific League, also in the Cubs kind of minors. He has 4 starts this season, 21 innings, just over a 2-flat ERA, and has not given up more than 2 earned runs in any start this season. And he's up against Verlander. Verlander this season is a little bit of a question mark to me, only because we've seen some of these, veteran pitchers kind of struggle out the gate when they didn't have that full spring training. And he's only had 1 start this season. Now, granted, it was pretty good. 6 innings, 2 earned runs against the Washington Nationals, and his velocity was there, 94 miles per hour. So all of that kind of adding up to meaning Verlander's first start was pretty good, and we're not getting that big of a plus price on the Cubs. That's what's keeping me off of betting the side. But I actually am going to go with the total here. We get a total of 8. We can bet it under. That's what I'm doing here. Betting under 8. We get 10-mile-per-hour winds in from right center and only 50 degrees in Chicago. So the weather aspects are pointing towards a little bit of lower run scoring baseball. And both teams trending under the total for the season. The Houston Astros have really trended under. 8 overs, 17 unders so far this year. They've played 8 straight to the under. The first 2 games in this series have all stayed under the total. Going to ride that trend here, guys. Astros and Cubs in the afternoon start. Let's go under 8 in Wrigley Field. Heading to Arlington up next, 2:35 Eastern start, the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers. Luis Castillo versus Andrew Heaney, the starting pitching matchup here. 9 being the total, minus 120-ish. That's what we're seeing. The M's is the short road favorite. Luis Castillo, he had a rough start to the season, but he found it last time out, going 7 innings, 0 earned runs, a mile high against the Rockies. And he's actually got an 18-1 strikeout to walk ratio in his last 2 starts. So we're getting a little bit of a hot hand here where the full season metrics don't show it with Castillo. I like that in terms of betting the Mariners. And Andrew Heaney on the other side, he's a guy that's had a great career, first round pick out of Oklahoma State. But this season, he's not looked the same. One, his velocity's down. He's throwing like 90 miles per hour right now. He has over a 6 ERA and just a 15-9 strikeout to walk ratio. So he's not missing bats like he did in the past. Great matchup overall here, guys. It's kind of a tough one to handicap for me. It's first and second place in the AL West division. But all of that going together, I think the Mariners are able to get to Andrew Heaney and bullpen advantage. I know it came back to haunt us last night, but still, Seattle Mariners, by my metrics, if you use whip, strikeout to walk ratio, things of that nature, the number 1 bullpen in baseball so far this season. So we can get them as low as minus 117, risk $117 to win 100. Let's go with the Mariners in Arlington for the daytime start. We'll move down to our nation's capital here with a late afternoon start, 4:05 Eastern. It is the Dodgers and the Nationals. Yamamoto and Mackenzie Gore, the slated starters. So 2 southpaws going at it. Minus 190 here. That's the Dodgers as the road favorite. 8 in the hook being the total. Dodgers 15-11 out the gate, but they're down 3 units overall, meaning if you've been betting them every game, laying these big numbers, you've actually lost money. Just kind of a reminder here, guys. Got to watch out laying the big wood in baseball. But Yamamoto, he's a guy that got blown up in his first start against the Padres. I believe that game was over in Korea. He's kind of settled down. And, you watch him pitch, he looks pretty good. and just doing research right before the video getting down here, he had under a 1 whip through 7 seasons pitching in Japan. I mean, he absolutely dominated over there. I think this is a great case study in terms of how he's going to do in Major League Baseball. We can start to see it here today. Mackenzie Gore, the lefty for the Nationals, first round pick in 2017, straight out of high school, top prospect guy. He's been good, but he hasn't gone deep into the games, meaning he hasn't made it out of the 5th inning yet this season. I think part of that is him reeling a little bit, but part of it is, they got a big time arm. They traded for him, and they're not wanting to put too much on him too early in the season. So I think that translates to today. And what it also translates to is getting to the Nationals bullpen, which is the worst bullpen in baseball out the gate. I mean, these bullpen arms have been blown up, and 2 of their better arms, Barnes and Law, have pitched back-to-back days. So when you're already not a good bullpen, 2 of your better arms might not be available, and you're going up against the Dodgers lineup. Now, it might be close because Mackenzie Gore is a good starting pitcher, but part of this handicap is getting later in the game, going up against, less talented arms. I think this Dodgers lineup is going to do some damage here. So I'm actually going to lay the 1.5 with the road Dodgers here, minus 120. So risk 120 to win 100 on the Dodgers, minus the run line in the 4:00 start game in Washington, D.C. We got 1 game left here, guys. There's actually only 1 night game on the slate. So doing a quick show here for you. Do want to give a shout out to WagerTalk.com. Go check them out, guys. If you're watching on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, and love everybody smashing that like button and commenting below. Let me know where you agree, where you disagree, what your MLB picks are for today. All is welcome in the comments below. Also, a reminder, it's $5 for any pick on the site. So you can go check out my premium picks, season packages, Drew Martin, WagerTalk.com. As we got last game up, Yankee Stadium here, 7:05 Eastern start. Oakland A's and the New York Yankees, Alex Wood and Nestor Cortez. Another southpaw matchup here. Minus 245, that's the Bronx Bombers as the home favorite, total of 8. We get Alex Wood, the 2nd-round pick out of the University of Georgia. He's been smacked around this season, 33 hits and just 22 innings pitched. Almost an 8 ERA on the season. He has not pitched in the 6th inning in any of his 5 starts this year. Up against Nestor Cortez, the 29-year-old Cuban-born player out of Hialeah High School, 36th-round pick, not far from where I'm talking right now. He's rocking the stash. He's like a bulldog out there. I like watching him pitch. He's had 5 starts. He's 1-1 on the year. I like Nestor Cortez. I'll take him over Alex Wood. But another aspect here is no Oakland A's batter, a lot of young batters in the Oakland roster, has faced him more than 4 plate appearances. So they really haven't seen him a bunch. I think that's an advantage, at least in some form or fashion, towards Cortez. But laying minus 245, guys, that is not something I recommend doing. And them being at home, laying the run line, I don't like that profile either. So I'm actually going to go after this New York Yankees lineup that's been top 10 so far out the gate this season. And the Oakland A's have hit lefties better than righties. They get a lefty here in Cortez. So it's a hitter's ballpark. Looks like, weather should be in the 50s. And we get a first 5 over 4.5 at plus money. That's what I'm going to go with here, guys, because I'm going to cut out the later innings. Both bullpens have been good. So we're going to go for the Yankees, mostly getting to Alex Wood. Also, Nestor Cortez, I wouldn't be surprised if he gives up a long ball or 2. So getting 4.5 plus 100 to the over, risk 100 to win 100 on over 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings, guys. So that does it for the shorter Thursday slate. Drew's Daily Diamond going live each and every day on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Thanks for smashing that like button, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Comment below. I'll be in there answering any questions if you got them, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Cash those tickets.